Hello, I'm Kirsteen, and this is Kirsteen's Aesthetic Art and Travel. All my life I've been an artist, and all my life people have told me, "Oh, that's so lovely, I wish I could do more art." And so I've created this YouTube channel to help with that. I've run arts festivals, I've run workshops, I've taught children in school and in college, I've taught adults. I've run a sculpture class, had a pottery, had exhibitions in more than one country, and all of it has been aimed at getting people to do more art. Of course, doing my own art and also helping people to enjoy more art. So this YouTube channel is really an extension of that same idea. And today I realized that I'd done quite a lot of difficult things. Been looking at proportions of the face and other difficult things, and I thought we should do something a bit more easy and fun. So this is a wonderful technique that works really well as something to play with and also something to do with children, which is called wax resist. Now I have these lovely wax crayons. These ones are from Crayola. You can buy them in all sorts of art shops and toy shops, and they are very inexpensive. And I have watercolour paints. You can get amazing quality watercolours, and you can get really cheap ones that are awful and hardly have any colour. These are quite good. They're in like the middle range. They're Winsor and Newton, and everything I've ever had from Winsor and Newton has been very satisfactory. So I don't think you need to spend thousands on watercolours. And I have a great big brush. Now, wax resist literally means that the wax resists the paint, because obviously water doesn't stick to wax. And here we have wax and watercolours that get mixed with water. And so you can make something where it doesn't stick. Obviously there's a white, which isn't going to show really at all. So wherever I put white, I'm going to end up left with white paper. And no matter if I put paint, lots of paint on it, I still probably get left with white paper. I'm going to draw some flowers in a meadow, and the flowers are going to fill the page. So I'm literally just putting white almost randomly anywhere I like, just to leave some like spots of sunlight among the flowers and grasses. It works best with the light pale colours, so the dark colours don't show up so much when you put paint on top of them. So here we go, I'm starting to actually form the things in the meadow with this pale green. I'm working with imagination and a photograph that I took in Scotland of a meadow. Actually in Edinburgh Botanical Gardens, which are wonderful. If you ever go to Edinburgh, definitely check out the Botanical Gardens. They have lily pads the size of cars in there. The thing about doing art is observation helps a lot with visual art. I'm sure it helps with other forms of art as well, but I'm talking about visual art. Observation, you look at something, you see how it is, but you also need to bring your own life to it. So if you're looking at something and you're doing observation and you say to yourself, I don't really like it like that, then by all means go ahead and change it, make it yours. Art is a dictatorship and you're the dictator. So there's all these gorgeous cornflowers that I'm going to create everywhere that I draw with the wax crayon. Then the paint will later not stick, and so I'm going to end up with really solid colour because of the paint. Excuse me if you can hear some banging in the background. There's a building site around my house at the moment. And yeah, if I wait for them to be finished, it might be months before I make a tutorial again. So cornflowers here, and grasses, and a big red poppy. I just love poppies. Obviously we see them in November for Remembrance Day, but they're good at every time of year. And I'm going to block in some colour there where the light's hitting part of it and not the rest of it. I seem to have a few different reds, so let's stick them on and see what happens. So that one's actually more of a pink. And this one's more of an orange. Yeah, I like it. Put a bit more of another poppy down here. If you can echo something in different places, I put a little bit of one here, then it usually makes a better composition than just one of something. Oops, sorry. So, for example, groups of 3, groups of 5, or you pick up a color again in another place. Compositions, you know, they usually work well if they look random, but they actually aren't, because you've thought about just echoing something. If you do something somewhere, try and do it somewhere else as well. Alright, now let's get some paint on. So I have water for my watercolour, because obviously water won't go on wax. As you can see, it just bubbles. And most of this meadow is green. There's a whole lot of flowers, but most of it is green, and I've realised that I should probably put more red on this, or I'm going to end up with green petals too. It's orangey red as well. There's no reason why I shouldn't use the black that's in this set, even though I did say use the light colours. I mean, use the light colours will show up in the wax resist, but you know, your black's in your box, it's yours. Do what you like with it. Alright, I'm making this up as I go, so let's see how it works. Yes, there we go. Immediately you see that the wax is repelling the paint. And when you do this with little kids, they gasp, which is very satisfactory. Oh, look, miss, it's not touching where the paint. Oh, that's magic. In fact, I refer to it with my children as magic painting. You can see why it feels like magic to me, and I've done it dozens of times. Done it with whole classes, done it with grown-ups, done it with kids. It's just, and of course, let your brush strokes go. You know, you don't have to make perfect, neat, smooth surfaces. In fact, a bit of colour variation feels more like there might be different darker plants and lighter plants, and bits the sun doesn't reach so well, and places for insects to hide. And there you go. Wherever the ink has gone, I mean the paint has gone on top of the wax has pushed it away. And now, obviously I do have these watercolours here, so I can use them as actual paints as well as just pouring on a solid colour. So I'm going to put a little bit more into this. Actually, I think I want a finer brush than that. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit more into this. Put some lines in it that look like grasses and things, and leaves. And this is where you want half decent brush, because you can see that I'm not just drawing with it, I'm also making like a sort of a brush stroke, a gesture. And a half decent brush will have a bit of a spring to it. A bit of spring will make that gesture work. So I'm going gentle, 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 press hard with a flick. Gentle, 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 harder with a flick. Gentle, gentle, harder with a flick. Gentle, gentle, harder with a flick, harder with a flick. It's a great thing to get a sheet and just play around with brush strokes. You can spend any number of hours on that and it will be beneficial. Gentle, gentle, harder with a flick, harder with a flick. So I'm going to put some pure, really dark colour down the bottom here as well, because I've got some really dark up the top. Just, as I say, echoing things that I do in groups of 3 or 5 so that they don't become all alone sticking out. Obviously there's times when that might work, but so now it feels like it has a whole sea of different plants in the meadow. And I'm just going to use this brush to wet that, and I'm going to take off some of the paint on that area because I don't like it pooling there so much. I'm just soaking it up a little bit. Another thing you can do is a little bit of flicking. Also gives you, it's also easy and kind of childlike, but it definitely gives you as this is a very textured, it would make a good fabric, I think. You can imagine this as, you know, a nice cushion cover or something. And even maybe some thumbprints for little insides of plants. You know, if they're growing up and having some kind of bud in there, it could be a thumbprint. You get in there with the different things and see what works for you. Different texture and feel. Always going to be able to authenticate if this is my real artwork because it has my fingerprint all over it. Good, I like that. So that is the technique of wax resist, and you can do it with very affordable watercolour paints, although I recommend something like Winsor & Newton, De La Rowley, not just, you know, pound shop ones. And you can probably get away with student quality just fine if you're given a choice. And any wax crayons, these are Crayola, which are a great brand, been around forever, and they do a really nice bright colour, but they'll still be very affordable. You know, they're £2-3 a box, crayons, wax crayons. And I've used a couple of brushes and that's it. I'm going to sign it. And thank you very much for watching my tutorial. And if you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I should also say that you're welcome to buy any of the art that I make in my tutorials. I can roll it up, put it in a tube and send it to you. And you can email me to ask for it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.